All right, Miles, let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. This is a team that's made a lot of big moves. They've kind of come up on the season a little slower, but they're in full gear now. They're 4-4, which is actually pretty good considering the injury troubles they've had to fight through. And they've got some good news heading their way finally as they push forward to the second half of the season and make a real push as the real contender, which I think they are. And I know you've got some specifics on that. But before I hand it over to you, 49er fans, we want to hear from you in the comment section below. Look, you're 8 games in. You got to have a mid-season MVP at this point. Give us a guy in the comment section that's really stood out, that's had a really nice year, who you think has carried the team to this point. We want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. But Mize, what's the latest with the 49ers?
Well, Nick, we'll go bad news with good news. Development that Jason Verrett, it seems as if he is going to be out for the rest of the season. We won't dwell on that too much because there is a lot of good news for this 49ers offense in particular. Some studs, Deebo Samuel and Jawan Jennings, probably two of the more important starters on this offense. Coupled with Ayuk, that's their starting three receivers. So two of the starting three are back full participants in practice, along with versatile Swiss Army knife Kyle Juszczyk, who can do everything from block, run, and catch passes out of the backfield. He's basically almost like Christian McCaffrey is, but a fullback. So you got two Christian McCaffreys on the field now, full practice. So that is really big for the 49ers. Everything seems to be going their way on the offensive side of the ball. This is a pretty big development. But first, Deebo Samuel being back, Nick, I think that's a really big one to kind of now they have the full running game with McCaffrey. They have Juszczyk in the backfield. This running game is full blast. So this is going to open up the Deebo Samuel plays that we've been looking for. They've been using him as a running back all last year. It was very effective. But now I think he's more settled into that wide receiver role because they have such a versatile backfield. I think he can really start to shine now. How important do you think it is for Samuel to be back 100% this week?
I mean, it's ungodly important, but I think Juszczyk is even more important because he's kind of the do everything guy. Because he can do all the dirty work. Obviously, he can block as a fullback. He can line up in tight end. He can line up in H back. He can catch the ball as a tight end, catch the ball as a fullback. The fact that he can do so many things, it allows him to be very creative with personnel packages. Right? You can have Deebo Samuel in the game and Juszczyk in the game and Christian McCaffrey in the game, and you could basically treat it like it's a 5 wide receiver set with Juszczyk as the tight end, with Samuel and McCaffrey as part of the receivers, right? You could also have that same formation and be in like a power I setup and be able to run the football down your throat. So having Juszczyk back and healthy is going to be huge because Kyle Shanahan very smartly uses him to be really clever with different personnel groups and things like that. Obviously, Deebo Samuel, he's a superstar. There's no doubt about it. The guy's an absolute playmaker, can beat people straight off the line, run after catch is unbelievable. He adds that extra dimension to the offense. There's no doubt about it. I think you bring up a great point that McCaffrey involved will maybe taking some of that running load off of Samuel, which he obviously wants. He wants to be a receiver. So I think the fact that he, gets to come back healthy paired with Juszczyk is a big deal. But look, this 49ers team, after kind of a slow start to the season, Miles, you got to look at them right now, especially in a weaker NFC, as a top flight contender, don't you think?
Oh yeah, no, and you think especially on the offensive side of the ball, the offensive line has some real stars. Obviously, Trent Williams being the main one there, phenomenal player. They're true. We've been talking about everyone lining up in the tight end spot, Nick, but their actual tight end, George Kittle, is a monster. Probably top 5 tight end in the league. He's a phenomenal blocker. When they get to use him in as a pass catcher, he is great there too. And then you look at the receivers. Brandon Ayuk's been doing really great this season. Per PFF, he's the 7th highest graded receiver in all of the NFL right now with an
Wow, I didn't know.
81.7 grade. Deebo Samuel, like you said, superstar receiver. Jawan Jennings has been very serviceable as a receiver option as well. So when you think about this, I can say pretty much any skill position name on the 49ers offense, and you're going to have heard of them. An average fan has heard of these guys. They're very well known, very well rounded offense. They can do it in a number of different ways. And I think this is pretty key because on the defensive side of the ball, there also are some guys who are looking really nice. We will go over them briefly, like Bosa, obviously, Ward is doing good. But Hufanga in the safety position has really kind of stepped up this year. People are saying that he's probably one of the better safeties in the NFL at this point in time. So many options for the 49ers to be a great team. like you said, they really, really seem to be a playoff contender this year.
Well, yeah, and especially people kind of forget this. This was a 49ers team that was in the NFC Championship game last year and had a fourth quarter lead over the eventual Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. And they've actually even better when you add Christian McCaffrey into the fold. This is actually even better team on paper than that team that made the playoff push last season to the championship game. There's no reason to think that this 49ers team can't really accelerate here, make that same kind of deep playoff push. And you look at an NFC that's a little easier, right? Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are down. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are down. Look, when Kirk Cousins and Jalen Hurts are at the cream of the crop in the NFC, you got to like where you stand if you're a team like the 49ers. Again, I think the momentum's on their side. Getting some guys back on offense is going to be huge as they make a big push the second half of the season.
My last point to leave you with, Nick, isn't it crazy how at the beginning of this season for the 49ers, it was almost like a step back rebuilding year. We're going to get Trey Lance in here.
Yeah.
We're going to, digress offensively, try to work him in, work him up. But now, ever since Lance got hurt, Jimmy G's back in the fold. They go back into all-in mode trading for McCaffrey. This offense and defense, they're all in to win it all right now. It's incredible to see how this offense and defense have turned around.